And the players getting together for a little chat as we're just about ready to get going here. Hello again, everyone. This is Kevin Harlan alongside Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. And we're ready to bring you the NBA on 2K Sports. Thunder here to defend the home court, playing host to the Eastern Conference. Look now, State Farm presents the starting lineups. One of the guys we'll be watching out for today, Kevin Durant.
And one thing that Durant has made very clear in his young career is that he's going to be a factor in clutch situations. He wants the ball in his hands with the game on the line.
You know, he's got that lean, thin body and looks a little wispy and carefree out there. But underneath that jersey beats the heart and edge of, I think, a killer in terms of putting the ball in the basket.
Well, one thing that you can't say is that the Thunder's rise to the top caught anyone by surprise. In the annual GM survey before the season started, more than two-thirds of the general managers in the league picked Oklahoma City to win the West.
Outside Rondo. Passes it to Bass. Kicks to Pierce. Over Durant. Pierce's shot is good. And you look at the roster they have, and Steve, you kind of alluded to it around the league. They were garnering great success. The stars like Westbrook and Durant, so much youth. It's no wonder all those GMs, Clark, that Steve was just talking about, picked Oklahoma City.
And the scary thing is that they'll keep getting picked over and over again. I mean, they have a lot of depth and a lot of skill, and I just see them getting better and better each season. Boy, they were ready for him right there. I mean, totally collapsed the defense on him.
Now we'll go to Doris Burke, who had a chance to talk with head coach Doc Rivers.
He told me one of the more troubling tasks his team must do is to figure out how to slow down Russell Westbrook. He said that between his explosiveness and ability to change direction, they'll have to have all five guys keeping an eye on Westbrook whenever he's on the perimeter.
Thanks, Doris. Now here's Westbrook following the shot by Kevin Durant. And the foul on Paul Pierce. That's his first foul. And now, just over a minute played here in the first. Perkins kicks to Durant. 5 on the clock. Goes to the fadeaway and cans it.
And Kevin Durant, a deadly offensive weapon. And, you know, he's only getting better. Last season, a career high in field goal percentage, just a hair under 50%.
Outside for Rondo. Garnett with a screen on Westbrook. Outside Rondo. Bass passes to Bradley. The pass to Rondo. Garnett up top. He dishes it to Bass. A second chance effort, and he hits the jumper for 2. You know, Steve, you mentioned that field goal percentage for Kevin Durant. You know, Clark, what do you think the difference has been for him?
Well, for one thing, he's getting more and more shots closer to the basket. He's being a little more judicious with the three-point attempts. And as he gets stronger with age and added weight, I think he's going to play closer to the rim more.
How about that play? Great body control. Still manages to finish the play despite the contact.
You know, when that whistle blows, you're not done. Get greedy and find a way to knock it down.
Kevin, his defensive abilities really set him apart. I think he's one of the league's best defenders.
You know, the saying goes that great defense beats great offense, but great defense is more consistent. That shooting touch can come and go, but he's not going anywhere.
Looking at who's out there now for the Thunder. Nick Collison's checked in for Perkins. Jones comes in for Serge Ibaka. James Harden, he's checked in for Cephalosha. And it's Maynard in for Russell Westbrook. Harden gets a screen from Collison. Harden kicks to Maynard. Back to Harden. From past the arc. Yes, a nice assist from Maynard. Harden's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. And a little over 2.5 minutes gone here in the first. Outside, Green. Back to Terry. But Trey. That's good.
How about that? They respond to a three-pointer with a quick three of their own.
Yeah, terrific. Great back-and-forth sequence right there.
Harden kicks to Maynard. over Terry. And that's not going to go. And that does it for the first quarter. Celtics out in front, up 5. Let's take a quick break now, and then it's on to the second quarter after this. And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. Celtics lead by 5.
And a good start for this club. I like the way they played together, really moved the ball and did a nice job offensively.
Yeah, excellent ball movement, and it's paid off on the scoreboard, too. You know, throughout the history of the NBA, the Celtics have been such a constant presence in the postseason that it's hard to imagine the playoffs without seeing the green. Every year the players change, but the Celtics' mystique is always in it, and that team is always hanging around.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor. All fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. On the floor for Boston. Rondo and the Jet. Jason Terry in the back. Bass and KG, the big ticket, patrol the inside. And it's Green in at the small forward. Rondo dishes to Bass. Harden the pass to Collison. Oklahoma City moving it around. Westbrook kicks to Durant. Launches a 3. No luck. And the Celtics going the other way now. It's really the mark of a great franchise. Boston expects great things from the Celtics each year. And more often than not, Steve, they deliver.
Yeah, you don't get all those banners that they have in that building without executing in the postseason. That's what this Celtic team has done the last few years. They play together, they've played hard, they defend, and they're at their best when their best is needed.
And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to Doris Burke for an update. Hi, Doris.
Kevin, the Celtics with a little bit of a new look this season. The famed Big Three no more as Ray Allen has moved on. But change, not necessarily a bad thing. Last season, when they moved Kevin Garnett to center and moved Avery Bradley into the starting roster, their defense flourished, becoming the best in the league, Kevin.
Defense really their identity. That's how they win. Ibaka, no luck.
I'll tell you guys, it's great to see Jeff Green back on the court after missing all of last season following a very serious heart surgery. They repaired an aortic aneurysm, something that a few other NBA players have dealt with, including Ronnie Turioff. So hopefully he'll be healthy and back on his game this year.
Maynard kicks to Ibaka. He kicks it to Maynard. The feed to Cephalosha. He passes to Perkins. Working inside. On the left block, and Ibaka slams it in.
Well, he just makes so many hustle plays every game, and I think that's his main value to this club. He comes in, he brings energy, he brings toughness, and he's always going to get you an extra couple of possessions offensively during the game at some point.
And I just think his overall defensive presence is so valuable to this team. He's a great communicator and help defender, and that's important talking on defense. His impact is much greater than you might realize.
And the Thunder going with a whole new group out there. And a new group in for the Celtics. Kevin Garnett, he's checked in for Zellinger. Pass comes in for Jeff Green. Avery Bradley, he's checked in for Courtney Lee. And it's Terry in for Rajon Rondo. And there's the foul, and it's on Brandon Bass. That is his first foul of the game. And the Thunder making a switch here. Harden's checked in. And here in the second quarter of action with a hair under 2.5 minutes played so far. Pass to Jones. Back to Harden. Beyond the arc. The shot is off. And the Celtics going the other way now. Here's Bradley. Sinks the 15-footer. Bradley's got 5.
Soft defense right there. Way too soft.
And here's Westbrook. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. Back to Durant. Collison with a screen on Pierce. Durant kicks to Jones. It's stolen by Bass. Here's Bradley, and it's in.
Ooh-wee, Kevin. That was a big shot to extend their lead and send them into halftime with momentum.
So we've reached the end of the first half of play. Celtics out in front, up 7. Folks, stick around here at halftime for the halftime show with Damon Bruce for all the highlights from our first half.
Now, presented by Sprint.
Sunday action is in full swing, so let's break down the first half for you. An impressive start for the Celtics. Their great passing has been fun to watch, keeping the ball moving and picking apart that D. Avery Bradley's come up big in the first half, and they love the output they're getting out of Jason Terry. And the Thunder, man, they're putting up a fight. They're really going hard at it on the boards, offensively chasing down every miss they can. They felt the impact from Serge Ibaka, and James Harden's also been getting it done. And that's it for now. Thanks for stopping in with us. It's time to head back to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke, who are all ready with the call. Second half.
And the second half about to start here in just a few moments. Thunder trailing by 7.
Well, with such a young core and showing that they can be a team that can hold their own in the tough Western Conference, it's possible we could be looking at a decade-long run here with the Thunder, where they win multiple conference championships and maybe NBA titles as well.
The front line, Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka, and Kendrick Perkins. The backcourt comprised of Russell Westbrook and Thabo Sefolosha. That's the lineup in the game for Oklahoma City.
There's one thing about the alley-oop. You can't fire the pass in there. You got to have some air under that pass. It needs a little hang time.
That's exactly right. A lot of finesse, just like that one was. Perfectly thrown.
And that's what makes the play so much fun to watch. There's finesse on the front end, but then power on the end.
See, that's a good thought. You certainly have to think so. The way they are dominating their division and the rest of the West the past few years. But what a solid young core they have to go with.
Yeah, they're fantastic, Kevin. Such a young team. They've been knocking on the door for a championship the last couple of years, and they should be a contender as long as they can keep this core together and stay healthy.
Now let's go to Doris Burke. Doris?
Guys, Kevin Durant boosted his rebounding last season to 8 boards per game, a career high. He said, that's something that coach wants me to do. He said, I can get 10 a game. I think if I help the bigs out, it'll make it much easier for us to push the ball and get easy points on the other end. And Kevin, with Durant's 7'5" wingspan, he's got the size to do his part on the glass.
Sure does. Doris, thanks. Nick Collison's checked in for the Thunder. Harden comes in for Sefolosha. And then for Boston. Green comes in for Brandon Bass. And it's Terry in for Avery Bradley. And here's Rondo. 1:39 left in the third quarter of the game. Right side, Terry. From outside the arc, count the bucket. Terry's got 6.
And the Jet, as he's known, is a great shooter, both from mid-range and long range. Can step out well behind that three-point line and knock down the shot. But really what he wants to do is put the ball on the floor a couple times, create the angle, and then rise up over the top and make that mid-range shot.
And Steve, whether starting or coming off the bench, JT is always ready to step into the big moment and knock down the big shot. Kevin Durant, 3-time NBA. Actually, he's led the NBA in scoring the last 3 seasons. Remarkable when you consider how young this guy is.
Terry kicks to Pierce. It's rebounded by Oklahoma City. Westbrook with it. Now Pierce defending. Back to Durant. Stolen by Terry. A 3-ball. And it's Terry again missing. Durant, the youngest ever scoring champion back in 2010, so naturally also the fastest of 3 scoring titles as well, Steve.
Well, and to think that he's been able to accomplish everything that he has, and he's still in his early 20s. It's just amazing. Of course, leading his team to the finals a year ago as well. Become one of the most dominant players in the league, and the scary thing is he's only going to get better.
Durant with another miss. And here's Rondo. Puts the lead pass in front of him. KG, that's good.
You don't need much range to hit from that distance, Kevin.
Here's Westbrook. Oh, he put it down!
It'll count.
What a shot!
I think that one was
at
good.
The buzzer!
Well, he just throws up a prayer and it gets answered.
And those kind of shots are such a big lift for any team going into a break.
And we've reached It's time for the fourth quarter and time to check in with the fourth member of our team, Doris Burke, to find out who had the Sprite uncontainable game. Doris?
Yes, gentlemen, our uncontainable game tonight, Jason Terry. He has come off the bench and stepped in when they needed it most, providing several key plays for his team. I'm sure we'll see more of him in the fourth.
Great, Doris, thanks. And when you look at that textbook contribution, guys, coming from one of the reserves, he really fit that definition here tonight.
Yeah, he's really been the X factor in this game. You know, to be honest, I don't think they were ready for him defensively. Seemed like they just didn't have a plan on how to guard him.
Well, you know, one of the things about having a guy like him come off the bench is that it gives you a burst. He's a power surge, and he creates immediate matchup problems, especially when he gets hot.
So with Rondo on the bench, here's the five for Doc Rivers right now. Lee out there with Green. Then there's Avery Bradley. Then it's Brandon Bass, and it's Terry in at the point guard position.
He spoke loud on making a statement that play.
Yeah, that was brute force, battling for the offensive board, then taking it right back up there.
That's just all about strength and energy, guys.
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Kevin Garnett is checked in for Green. Pierce comes in for Courtney Lee. Rajon Rondo subbed in for Jason Terry. The free throw drops for Bass. And the Thunder with the possession here. 8-point game. Rondo against Westbrook. Left side Westbrook. Over Rondo. Offensive rebound.
That's a look that he'll never pass up. The one he'll usually never miss.
Got a piece of it. Garnett. He gathers. A chance there to push it to double digits, but it's off the mark. Westbrook against Rondo. And Westbrook, here we go. Good.
Well, they found the touch here in the second half in the field. And everything else we talk about, folks, rebounding, defense, all of that, this game is still about making shots. You got to put the ball in the basket. That's the bottom line. And they found a way to do it here in the second half.
Here's Pierce following the basket by Russell Westbrook. Here's Garnett. That's good. And the Celtics lead by 8.
They can't seem to stop anybody inside.
They got to know that if they don't make life tougher in the paint, the opponent is just going to keep going there. I mean, it's not like they'll get tired of all these in-close opportunities.
Rondo passes to Bradley. Feeds it to Bass. He dents the rim with a two-handed slam. Wow.
He's a bit short for the power forward spot, but his great leaping ability more than makes up for it.
Time called here. The Thunder decide to talk it over. They're behind by 10. 1:27 left to play here in the fourth. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Yes, Kevin, during that break, Coach Scott Brooks had some words for his team. He said, listen, we've come this far. Now we've got to lay it on the line to get a win. I know we can do it. So show them what you got and let's make it happen. Guys, we'll see if they can do it.
Serge Ibaka has checked in for Oklahoma City. Back to Westbrook. Oklahoma City moving the ball around. Durant. That's good, and so Westbrook comes up with the assist. And it's 8 points for Kevin Durant.
Well, he's been scoring pretty well on just a few attempts. It might help them out if he was a bit more assertive.
Now a timeout called by Boston. They're up by 8. 1:15 left in the game. .115 left in the fourth quarter. Pierce, defended by Durant, puts it up. Pierce, good.
3 straight buckets in the paint. They're making it look effortless.
Well, speaking of effortless, you'd like to see a little more out of the defense. How about trying, guys?
Now, here is Harden. Westbrook kicks to Durant. Over Pierce. Durant with another miss.
That's his comfort zone, so defensively, really nice job challenging the shot.
Rondo with the ball, and it's Harden picking him up. Rondo dishes to Garnett. Left side Pierce. Serge Ibaka with the rebound.
You gotta like the defense not quitting on the play and getting a hand in the face.
Sure do. With a tough defender breathing down your neck, that makes it not an easy shot.
Clark, they're this close to putting it away.
Yeah, and they don't need to do anything to reinvent the wheel here. I mean, just take time off the clock and squeeze the orange. Don't turn it over.
Well, at least the defender got his money's worth on that one.
Yep, that was an easy whistle for the officials.
Rajon Rondo taking 2 shots.
And he doesn't get the first one to fall. And the Thunder going with a whole new group out there. And a new group in for the Celtics. Melo's checked in for Garnett. Sullinger comes in for Brandon Bass. Jeff Green is checked in for Paul Pierce. And it's Lee in for Avery Bradley. And the second free throw, good.
He would have liked them all to go, but that should still be enough to end this thing. I don't know, Clark. This looks over now.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is all but over.
The Celtics have gone 4 of 8 in this fourth quarter, shooting at even 50% from the field. Now here's Rondo. And so it's Boston easily grabbing this one. You know, Clark, every team has a bad night, and these guys might want to watch the tape of this game the next time they have a bad night to remind themselves how dominant they can be.
Well, this is one of those dreamlike games for a coach.
For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for tuning in. Now it's time to present our Jordan Player of the Game.